Developing a winning mindset. This topic has been discussed by and written about by many people. This type of winner's mindset is highly desired. Everyone wants to win at everything. Athletes, they play to win. A plaintiff and a defendant hope to win their case. Even a gambler hopes to win. No one wants to lose. Unfortunately, the will to win is not always enough. Hoping to succeed is not enough. Thinking the best about a situation does not always force the best out of a situation. So, why work on developing a winning mindset if it doesn't guarantee victory? Because the type of mindset you have about your environment will dictate your actions within it. In order to develop a winning mindset, we must examine the characteristics of the mind and understand how a mind that is set on winning and on achieving success can be developed. First, let's learn a little bit about the mind. Allow me to make this distinction. Your mind is not your brain. Your brain is approximately 3 pounds of tangible gray matter inside of your head. It is the origin of your mind and is responsible for your interpretation of sensory impulses, coordination and control of your bodily activities, and the exercise of emotion and thought. Therefore, when we say developing a winning mindset, it is our intent to not to develop the brain, because your brain is already developed. We want to develop what your brain produces. Now, our minds are the intangible controllers of our realities. It is the human consciousness that originates in the brain and is manifested in thought, memory, perception, feeling, will, and imagination. The mind directs your mental and physical behavior. In other words, it controls what you think and what you do. Let's break down the initial definition of the mind. The human consciousness that originates in the brain and is manifested in thought, memory, perception, feeling, will, and imagination. Our conscience is our awareness of our own existence, sensations, and thoughts of our environment. It is the totality of our attitudes, opinions, and sensitivities. While this consciousness or awareness originates in our physical brain, it is manifested or demonstrated in 6 mental faculties: thought, memory, perception, feeling, will, and imagination. Our thoughts are our ideas. Thoughts are products of thinking. Our memory is the mental faculty that retains and recalls our past experiences. Perception is our ability to become aware of something directly through our senses, to see, to hear, and to observe. It's how we perceive things. Our feelings are our emotions, our sensitivities. Our will is the mental faculty through which we deliberately choose or decide on a course of action. The imagination is the creative power of the mind to form a mental image, concept, or vision of something that is not present or in existence. Now, let me make this all make sense. Your mind is the awareness of your existence in your environment and your feelings and thoughts about that environment based on your interpretation of what your physical body senses. Now, my goal is to aid you in the development of your mindset or your mental disposition or attitude by helping you realize the potentialities of your environment to such a degree that you see it as full of victory, success, achievement, rewards, and favor. What I want to do is to encourage you that no matter what it looks like, sounds like, or feels like, There is potential victory in your environment and in your situation. It's almost not so much that we have to develop your mind as much as it is that we must change your mind about your circumstances, situations, and your environment. Your mindset is almost always expressed verbally. I can tell how you interpret your environment or what is on your mind by what you say, or how you verbally express those thoughts, memories, perceptions, feelings, will, and imagination. Your mindset is manifested through your words and then through your actions. The initial victory or win comes out of a personal conflict because there are opposing forces attempting to gain control over your mind. Your natural born internal motivation says you can do it. It says this is possible. A baby does not believe that he cannot do what is known as crawling. They don't recognize it as crawling. They see something they want to grab a hold of, and they work and work and work until they succeed. That belief that they'll eventually get there is not developed. You're just born with it. The belief that I can muster up some movement, I can get to things I see before me. But there exists external stimuli in your environment that tells you otherwise. That toy is all the way across the bed, and I still haven't figured out what I need to do in order to move. The troubles of this world permeate our existence, and once you become aware of the opposing forces to your victory, the fight is on. Winning lies in your ability to respond to that internal motivation that says, I can do this, and not to respond to those external stimuli that say, but can you get past me? It is a winner's mentality versus a loser's mentality. The individual with the loser's mentality says, no, I can't get past you, so I quit. You have to fight. Now, while not fighting does not present you with the opportunity to lose, it also robs you of the opportunity to win. Is it better to fight and lose or not to fight at all? Many of us are so afraid of losing the fight that we refuse to get in the ring. So, how do we develop or change our mind? There are a few steps that you should take to develop and maintain a winning mindset. Number one is don't limit your environment to your natural senses. Think outside of the patterns that have been formed in your life. Now, our thoughts are connected to our senses. You have a thought about what you see, what you hear, and what you touch. For many people, if we can't touch it, it doesn't exist. At the same time, if you can tap into your imagination, you can see, touch, feel, and hear things that don't exist. Your senses will destroy your vision. Your vision of your future comes from your imagination. Vision is not sight, and thus not a natural sense. You don't see your vision with your eyes. You see it with your mind, much like a hallucination. What we have to work to do is to maintain our vision regardless of our sight. Don't limit yourself to what you can see with your eyes. Live according to what you can see with your mind. Your mind naturally wants to operate within the confines of your natural environment, but you have to force yourself to envision your success. Always keep and meditate on a mental picture or a vision of you winning. Number 2, when you can't change the situation, change your mind about the situation. Your mind will pick up on the things that most annoy you or bother you. It's almost as if you focus on what bothers you the most. In a crowded room of people, your mind will pick up on the person that bothers you the most, as opposed to the person who is a joy to be around. You can't change the fact that your mind is drawn to that which annoys you, but you can control whether or not you allow that thing or person to annoy you. It's unrealistic to expect that people won't think about bad situations or crises, because when the situation presents itself, your mind recognizes it quicker than the positive and signals a response. The problem is not that we think about the situation. The problem is what we think about the situation. Just because the situation is negative doesn't mean you have to think about it negatively. Use positive thoughts to think your way out of the situation. How do I do this? Reject negative thoughts, because a series of negative thoughts can destroy you. People with low self-esteem think negatively about themselves. If they accept those negative thoughts regarding themselves, their abilities, and their future, it will destroy their chances of living the life they intended to live. Don't dwell on bad thoughts. Instead of being consumed with worry and fear, find those positive things in your life and dwell on those. Take a moment to be thankful for what you do have and consider this basic fact. There is someone somewhere who would love to be in your shoes.